Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. This is going to be a reading on that Dr. Phil interview with Donald Trump. I chuckled because I got to watch part of it while eating my dinner. I'm sure I'll have indigestion all night long because of it. But first, before I get too far into that, I want to talk to you about two other channels that I have. I have Tarot of the Seven Seas, which is like this channel, but it's on international, mostly EU readings. And another channel that I started with my identical twin brother Gary called Twin Tarot with Gary and David. It's, again, like this channel, except that there's two of us. And we sound alike. And we snark alike, and the snark is epic. So if you like these videos, check out my other channels, Tarot of the Seven Seas, or Twin Tarot with Gary and David. Links will be in the description, or you can check the community page on this one, and I have a post up from about a week ago. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled video. Okay, we're back. So, a subscriber asked if I would take a look at Dr. Phil's interview with Donald Trump. So I just sacrificed about 15-20 minutes of my life on that. Oh my God! I wasn't a big doctor. I didn't follow Dr. Phil. I didn't watch Oprah. I didn't watch Dr. Phil. What is it with Oprah and these quacks that she has on her show, man? Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil? I'm going through this just like, Dr. Phil's like, I don't endorse presidential candidates. Yeah, but good Lord, watching you just butcher the law and gaslight people. You don't have to tell me you advocate. You don't tell people who you want them to vote for. It's really freaking obvious. You don't have to say a dang word. And in the end of the interview, he says something to the tune of, I know you've got thick skin. You're not one of those people afflicted with the need to be loved by strangers. Are you kidding me? The ultimate in gaslighting. It's like, if you didn't get the memo before that this should have been a parody. Really, honestly, it's like you're being sarcastic, right? I mean, all these questions are so leading, and terrible things have happened to you that have never happened to anybody before. It's like, it's like, okay, first off, this is really distasteful, but maybe Dr. Phil's luring him into the cave and then close the door behind him. No, there was no door closing, no gate closing behind him. Maybe it's on the rest of the show that I didn't watch. Maybe he asked him, it's like, you don't really want to be a dictator, do you? And Donald Trump probably said, yes. I don't. Dr. Phil, good God. It was infuriating to listen to. Absolutely. So, what I want to say is, for Trumpers that watch Dr. Phil and watch this interview, if I can understand why they would be riled up by this, because you've got this TV psychiatrist talking with Donald Trump, basically telling them incorrect information that allows them to believe that Trump is innocent and being victimized. So I get it why they're riled up. If Dr. Phil, he probably told a dozen falsehoods during this. I didn't bother counting, but it was just like, no, that's not right. No, that's not right. No, that's not right. It's like, well, no wonder people... I can't even get the words out. Dr. Phil, what is going on with you? Entertainment purposes only. Yeah. Jackass. 8 of coins. Guess who wants some ratings? Guess who wants some advertising dollars? Guess who's trying to build up his brand? So, now, mind you, if you're going to have an interview with Trump, this is how you do it. If I was going to do a right-wing tarot channel, that's how I would do it. I would just tell them everything they want to believe. And don't be encumbered by facts in reality, because who cares? I'm sure Dr. Phil got a nice boost in his ratings advertisers paid a lot of money for it. New people would come in and subscribe to his channel if this was like a YouTube-based thing, or however his broadcasts are getting out. Same thing. If I had Trump on my channel, on a right-wing tarot channel, I'd get gazillions of subscriptions. And then I would just continue telling them everything they wanted to hear. Because you want to tell them what they want to hear. Because that's how you keep the money coming in. The argument could certainly be made, well, isn't that what you're doing now with the lefties? Nah, not really. I mean, I could be. It'd be easy, but that's not the point of this channel. The point of this channel is to look at this stuff and try and figure out what's going on, and using facts and other information to support that. And at least if you have some understanding of what's going on, then you can like take the energy down, take the boiling point down. Why is Dr. Phil doing this? He wants money. Plain and simple. He wants money. Crossed with the Queen of Cups. He also, it was interesting listening to, and this is the broadcasting over the airwaves. It was interesting listening to him interview Trump, because he would say something and then Trump would fixate like on the last word he said and then include that word in his response sentence. It happened a couple of times and I picked up on it because there were words Trump wouldn't normally use, and it was a word that Dr. Phil had used just prior to that. But Dr. Phil, this whole interview was very calm, bringing energy down, and it allowed Trump to feel comfortable and keep his energy down too, which made him come across as more reasonable and less bombastic. So, and when you're coming across as reasonable and not bombastic, you're going to resonate and connect with people more. And I think that's one of the things that Dr. Phil was trying to do with this. He was trying to take it down a couple of notches and get underneath that. Now, mind you, I did not hear him ask one difficult question. Not one at all. And it was shocking. Oh, and of course, Trump defamed E Jean Carroll. Again, I'm going to read on that, but I would almost guarantee you there's going to be another lawsuit from E Jean Carroll because of this Dr. Phil interview. In the past, I got the Queen of Pentacles. Somebody came up with a great idea. Hey, I know how to help your channel. His channel's probably been quiet. You know, it's just Dr. Phil has his followers. He's not getting anybody new. So you got to blow the top off a little bit with somebody like Trump. Now, I said he was keeping things calm, but having Trump on there is going to bring new viewers, and that's going to bring revenue to it, and it's going to grow your show. Current situation is the world. Bringing things to a close. I think, I think this will help Dr. Phil on that one show. I don't think it's going to help him. I don't think this is going to propel him to the next level. Simply because it's like the people that would watch Dr. Phil would also, generally speaking, be voting for Trump. That's a generalization. That's not necessarily true. But I think if you were to look at the demographics, I would gather that people that would listen to Dr. Phil more likely than not would also be voting for Trump, or they're going to be older because they watched him on Oprah's show, so they've watched him for decades. Younger people, the Gen Zers, they're not going to watch this guy. So I don't think he's going to get much more of the demographic than what he already has. But to me, it's like, what a trash of your reputation. I will never watch anything with Dr. Phil again. Never. Ain't gonna happen. Overarching energy. This was the softest of the softball interviews. I couldn't figure a more friendly interview than this. He was just handing Trump gift after gift after gift. He was literally gifting him Trump's feelings of persecution. for lack of a better description. Lesson to be learned. Well, he gave a softball interview, and I'm sure the advertisers lined up. Trump sat there and answered the questions, and everything went swimmingly well on this interview. Everybody got what they wanted. And congratulations. Reading the comments on Dr. Phil's... Oh, sorry. 6 of Cups is the overarching energy. 9 of Cups is the lesson to be learned. The Devil card is the outcome. You showed people who you were. Dr. Phil is a MAGA. Plain and simple. And if he's not, he sure comes across like one. All chasing the mighty buck. Trying to increase his the popularity of his show. Yeah, I was about to go on some tangent, but I just stopped myself. That's fine. Oh, God. I want that 20 minutes back. It was infuriating to listen to it. And I just forced myself through the comments. The comments like, I didn't know Dr. Phil was MAGA. And then all these people like, well, if MAGA means supporting the Constitution, then yeah. It's like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. You just don't. Well, Dr. Phil, burn in hell. Tune in tomorrow. And the whole time, all I could hear was South Park's really bad imitation of Dr. Phil in the back of my head the whole time. It was hilarious. Oh, I'm twisted. Okay, what do I want to go to next with Dr. Phil here? I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. I was trying to remember. I had said I wanted to read on something. Yeah, E Jean Carroll. the woman who he couldn't talk about, but he owes her $97 million and he's never met her before. And she said these things in this book and stuff. And then there's Dr. Phil just nodding his head saying, yeah, it's terrible. They shouldn't do things like that to you. Bring him in. Bring him in as a witness. Maybe throw him in on the lawsuit. You stupid man. Oh, God. It was awful. It was awful to watch. It was truly awful to watch. So, did this little statement of his about E Jean Carroll, is that going to spurn on another defamation lawsuit? And I wonder if at some point they're going to try and say that he's insane and he can't defame her because he doesn't have control of his faculties. Because they talked about that. They talked about Trump misquoting the Robert Hur report when Robert Hur said something to the tune of, it's no sense prosecuting him, he'd be very favorable with the jury. To Trump translating is, he's not mentally competent to stand trial. And Dr. Phil didn't check him on that. Didn't correct him on that. And when Trump was talking about insane asylums, they kept saying, mental health facilities in little captions to clean up his language a little bit. But yeah, he didn't correct him. So Trump basically lied and said that this report said that Biden is mentally incompetent, and Dr. Phil just rolled with it. Who's the mentally incompetent one, Donald? How's this case going to impact E Jean Carroll and a further defamation case? High Priestess. Well, let's get E Jean Carroll and her lawyer. We'll get them together and they can discuss what they're going to do next, because somebody just has a hard time following the law. Oh, by the swords. Yeah, they're going to file a case because it's an instant win. It's literally it's a check. Donald Trump is just about to write her a check. How much? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, literally, Trump has lost. He lost the first case, And then because he lost the first case, the second time he defamed her, he automatically lost that one. Here we go again. And this is just like, he's still doing it, Your Honor. Hit him with some more money. Apparently he's got billions with this stock thing, so he's not hurting for cash. Go ahead and knock him up. I wonder if they'll check the jury box this time. I wonder if Lena Hobb will represent him. Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, as annoyed as I was with Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil, think about this for a second. Dr. Phil just cost Trump another $5 to $10 million with that, because you can look at how many people this went out to. And the first judgment was for $5 million. And then the second one, Trump just kept going. So they fined him, another $80 million or so. It's not getting the message across. So literally what's underneath here is, well, how much money should we go for? Should we go for 5 million? Should we go for 50? What's the magic number to get him to stop saying what he's saying? Just to change the subject. In the past, the 10 of coins, he's had to shell out a lot of money, $90 million in this. And Dr. Phil, you damn idiot, you're going to make him shell out twice as much money. Oh, God. Yeah, it's hard in a way, because I think E Jean Carroll would just like to live her life and just move on with it. And when you file these lawsuits, the Trumpers come out of the woodwork, so on and so forth. But at the same time, Five of Swords, screw that guy. I'm going to win. I'm going to beat him again. And we'll see if he can keep my name out of his mouth. Overarching energy is the Devil card. Yeah, Trump can't help himself. He just can't. He is insane. They just haven't bothered to get the correct doctors in there to evaluate his mental health properly. She'd like to be chained. First off, she doesn't have to sue him. She could just let it go and be free of him and live her best life as he does his appeals. But she could also just say, you know what? Screw it. This guy's not learning his lesson. I don't know what it takes to learn his lesson, but he hasn't learned it yet. So give me some more money. Keep fining him until he learns his lesson. Four of Swords. I think this could very well be, if she doesn't file suit, she's going to just sort of sit back and see what happens. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to file another lawsuit, and then they're just going to wait. Probably the trial would happen after, it would happen after the elections, because it would be a while to get it set up. But that, or they're going to bring it up to the appeals court. I don't think that would matter, though, because other than say he keeps doing it, here's this video, but yeah, I just think, here we go again. It's like thinking about it. There's that contemplation. Maybe it's just the contemplation. Is it worth it? But right now, I would say, it's worth it. Take his money. It's free money. And, again, E Jean Carroll, with that money, is going to spend it on things that Donald Trump wouldn't like. So, if he wants to defame you again, you can get more money to help for your foundation, and that can be invested, and your foundation can last that much longer and give out some more generous gifts or more gifts to other groups. I'm just curious why Dr. Phil didn't edit that part out. They could have edited that part out. Just chop out that little segment right there and ask him the question, and then skip right over it so that the guest doesn't defame himself. But maybe they have, Maybe Dr. Phil isn't MAGA. Maybe Dr. Phil just gave the most softballiest of the softball interviews, hoping that he would get more money. Let me ask, is Dr. Phil trying to get Donald Trump on his show more often? Is that why these softballs? Why didn't Dr. Phil push back at all? He could have pushed back. Why didn't he? I think we already answered that, but let's do a little four-carder. Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, I think he didn't push back because he wants more opportunities with Trump. Yeah, you got to be crazy. You got to spout the QAnon crazy MAGA stuff if you want more opportunities with Trump. You have to sacrifice, your intellectual sanity when dealing with this guy. Yeah, just no moral, just no integrity. Dr. Phil had no integrity whatsoever. He wants the money that the good things that come with interviewing Trump, and having Trump on there. Let's just say there's no integrity here. His show may not have been doing so well. He might have been struggling, and this is kind of like a gold mine for him. But yeah, there's that double card again. Dr. Phil has basically chained himself to Trump at this point. And that's going to come back and bite him in the butt. He has no integrity. He comes across as... If he had pushed back on obvious lies, he wouldn't come across as unhinged. Let's just put it that way. Why? Because he wants Trump back on the show. But at what cost? The cost of his reputation, his integrity. Not that he's a journalist because he's a doctor, but when you have like these TV shows and interviews and stuff like that, you expect the interviewer to be prepared, to be armed with facts, and if something is being stated that's not true or is pushing the boundaries of believability, to push back and call the person out on it. And none of that happened in this interview. Again, it was aggravating to watch. What's the silver lining? I just watched Donald Trump defame E Jean Carroll again, and that just makes me happy because that's millions of dollars more that E Jean Carroll's going to get to be going to get awarded to her, and then she can give that money to people and charities that she wants to. She could be a philanthropist through and through, and I love that for her. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience. Check out Tarot of the Seven Seas, my international channel. Check out Twin Tarot with Gary and David. We have another video coming up at the same time as this one, so if you hustle your buns over there, you can catch that video too. Again, link in the description for the video. It'll be at the bottom. And I hope to catch you on the next video. Take care.